Halo, halo, witam serdecznie chyba w 185 już odcinku z serii Genshin Impact. No i w dzisiejszym materiale wygramy kolejną domenę z głównej historii. Zagramy bohaterem Freminet, tak zwanym. No i to są wydarzenia z przeszłości. Poznamy jego historię, w jaki sposób został zatruty przez zatrutą wodę. Więc zobaczmy. Jakoś właśnie nurkował podobno. Ogólnie jest jakimś znakomitym nurkiem z tego, co inni bohaterowie mi mówili. Więc zobaczymy, czy rzeczywiście misja z nurkowaniem.
This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Mamy rozwiązywanie łamigłówek, zobaczmy. Co my robimy? Mosty zwodzone, jakieś konstrukcje. No nie jest to chyba najwyższy poziom trudności, zobaczmy. Wszystko się obraca w odpowiednim kierunku. Jakieś drzwi się jeszcze aktywowały. Nie wiem. Door of Resurrection. Może tam na górze, nie wiem. Ta, czyli znowu pewnie obrócimy. Zobaczmy, czy rzeczywiście. A to w złą stronę. J teraz chodzi twórcom. A dał radę jeszcze przekręcić i chyba będzie po robocie.
It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it.
Coś mnie blokuje, ale nie mam pojęcia co. Dziwna sprawa. Może w innej kolejności. Okej, tak i teraz postaramy się obrócić na samym wstępie. Dopiero później podniesiemy. Dobra radę? To powinno chyba załatwić sprawę. No te łamigłówki nie są na jakimś super wysokim poziomie. No proszę bardzo, daliśmy radę. Zazwyczaj nawet, czasami mamy nawet w sumie różne tutoriale, jak należy podchodzić do łamigłówek, ale w sumie nie trzeba ich nawet czytać, bardzo łatwo się wszystkiego domyślić. To jest tak zrobione, żeby wszyscy wygrali. Bez problemów. Co dalej? Muszę się na dół dostać. Dobra, skaczemy do kanałów, do rur. Żeby nie zawalić i nie spaść. Tutaj rzeczywiście mamy wodę.
This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look as well.
Ta, ten koleś ma jakiś skafander. Ciekawe, czy będzie on odkryty, bo jak się stoi w miejscu i nic się nie robi, to rzeczywiście ten skafander się pojawia, ale w trakcie pływania zaraz zobaczymy. Czyli nurkujemy. Nie, nie pojawia się żaden skafander. O, taki hełm specjalny. To bym musiał stać w jednym miejscu, dopiero wtedy to nie będę prezentował.
The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should be... there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What the... My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on? No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it.
No nie, wyścig z czasem, 100 metrów. Dobra, bohater całkiem szybko pływa. 100 metrów w kilka sekund, czy to nie jest rekord świata? Dajcie spokój.
I can't die here. This is bad. I'm feeling worse and worse, and I'm still underwater. I have to push on.
No tak, ale bohaterka uratowała go. To już było wcześniej przedstawione. Tam ten dialog wewnętrzny stosuje, zanim płynąć.
In other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone. But there was also no obvious place for him to have disappeared to.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going. I probably passed out some time after that, and you know the rest.
Miss Clarande brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fortress, or why she went out to save you.
Miss Clarande, you say? I must go thank her in person.
You're still too weak, Freminet. You can go after you've had some more rest.
Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarande will stay here as a guest for another few days, so there's no need to hurry.
A guest? Then I can assume Risley was the one who invited her to come down here?
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than me.
Dobra, to porozmawiam z nim.
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on. Wanna come with us, Liddy?
No, please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
Lyney,
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave. Both of you are just in danger.
understood. Then let's just sit together for a while.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now. As long as you stay in here, I don't think you'll be disturbed.
Thank you.
Jeszcze porozmawiam z nimi?
I'm so sorry, Lyney.
I'm also really sorry, Lyney. I should have been more careful.
Don't say that. It was all my fault. I was the one who should have been more careful. You two were nearly...
If I was stronger, maybe I would have already found Master Child.
No, how can you say that?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
What I'm hearing is, we all dropped the ball at some point during the mission, so the responsibility falls on all of us. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's on all of us.
Lyney, we understand that you're worried about us, but we're worried about you as well. Please don't blame yourself. We want you to keep your spirits up.
Yeah.
Dobra, chyba to było na tyle, jeżeli chodzi o rozmowę. Pora porozmawiać z Dukiem albo Weasleym, czy tam jak on się nazywa. Dobra, wolę jednak mówić Duke. To Weasley to pozdrawiam, jak to się pisze. To już w ogóle zapomnę za kilka sekund. Dobra, w takim razie muszę porozmawiać pewnie w jego gabinecie, tędy. No zobaczmy. Może się wytłumaczę. Może jeszcze jakieś materiały przy okazji. Co my tu mamy? Same skrzynie. Nawet nie posiada żadnych mebli.
Excuse me.
I take it Mr. Freminet's condition has stabilized?
Of course! I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Sejuin?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just take a few minutes.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me. I'll take my leave for now then.
No ona też nurkowała w tej wodzie zakażonej.
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain. How about enlighten?
Dobra, oświeć nas.
Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can start with whichever one you'd like to get answered the most.
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals.
Czemu ich nie zatrzymałeś?
Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Lyney suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went, so I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you!
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Freminet has told you already, the ratio of primordial seawater around the fortress of Meripede is on the rise. The Forbidden Zone has always been Lyney's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true that you're also a former criminal?
Now, why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates, that's all.
Oh, right! Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Cloran down here?
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Freminet was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already.
Czy zakazana strefa naprawdę istnieje?
That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Freminet.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you answer our last question in return?
You make a compelling case. Do you really want to know the answer that badly?
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know.
Even if the truth may not be pleasant?
Tak.
Follow me.
O, szykuje się mroczny klimat. Zobaczmy. O co może chodzić? Tędy? Jest to ukryte przejście? O kurde, ale typ. Jak schował.
There's a hidden door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is.
No dobra. Jakieś podziemne jeszcze korytarze. Nowe poziomy, o co może chodzić? Tu nic nie zrobimy, tędy jedynie.
Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa!
Jest winda.
So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special.
I to jest co?
What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence the name Forbidden Zone. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking of keeping anything from them.
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding whether or not to tell them.
Okej, o co może chodzić? Jakie sekrety? Szczerze mówiąc, nie mam pojęcia. Jak mroczna może być ta gra? Nagle się okaże, że kanibale rzeczywiście istnieją.
So there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by one.
Co jest na środku pokoju?
Go on, have a look.
Kurde, o co może chodzić? Jakie tajemnice?
I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking?
Może woda albo temperatura?
Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Freminet displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But we're already under the sea!
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising.
Jest jakiś wyciek tego primordial seawater do zwykłego morza.
Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the two of us! Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh. Oh!
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all.
To jeżeli ta brama zostanie rozwalona, no to wtedy Fontaine wymrze. Okej, to bardzo ciekawa sprawa. Czy to ma związek z tą najważniejszą przepowiednią? Że poziom wody się podniesie? I że wszyscy zginą oprócz Archona? Nie wiem. No tam nie było o trującej wodzie, tam było po prostu o zwyczajnej wodzie. Że się podniesie poziom wody i w sumie tyle. No zobaczymy.
Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the Primordial Sea? Who built this place anyway?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here. When the previous Hydro Archon Egeria ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You may go guard my secret, deep underneath the waves." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the overworld. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved into the sea.
Wierzysz w przepowiednie?
To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third.
A więc jako Duke, co planujesz z tym wszystkim zrobić?
Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiments have...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul about any of this?
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin?
Nie wiem, czy taki był?
He's the one who blew the whole institute sky high. Everyone knew he was a bit crooked in the head, but you're not local, so I guess it's possible for you not to have heard of him.
Edwin's main areas of research were archeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress of Meripede?
What a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants. While Jurier used to be Edwin's assistant, she used to be Jurier's assistant.
Ooh, are they together?
Czy to naprawdę było konieczne?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
No rzeczywiście, mechanizmy całkiem ciekawe.
Everyone really thinks everything's super cool.
Czy to jest zwyczajny pokój?
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
O kurde, ale Bioshock, tak jest! Proszę bardzo, jeszcze jaka muzyka. Czy to jest Rapture?
What a huge ship! This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's going on?
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty. According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the surging waves. He called his nation Lemuria, and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontainians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster.
To jest plan na lata. Czy możesz podzielić się tym planem ze wszystkimi?
Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. All right, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Do you have any other questions? Seems like you're good. Come on, I'll take you back.
Ale jaka lokacja fascynująca, kurde. Może w przyszłości będzie można to
I'll leave you here
eksplorować.
for now.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those 3 as well.
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Ta, z pewnością.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
Dobra, czyli teraz ciekawe, czy będziemy mieli rzeczywiście taki ważny wybór. Czy w tej grze są takie ważne wybory, to nie jestem pewien, że albo powiemy, albo nie. Zazwyczaj mamy tam jakieś kwestie dialogowe, że tam powiemy jedno albo drugie, ale to bez znaczenia jest totalnego, ale tu ta decyzja mogłaby mieć skutek na kolejne dziesiątki odcinków tak naprawdę. Więc to jest bardzo ciekawa sprawa i nie mam pojęcia, jak to pójdzie dalej. Wydaje mi się, że będzie jedno rozwiązanie. Chociaż ja osobiście, szczerze mówiąc, bardziej ufam temu Duke'owi niż tej dwójce. Oni są jeszcze z FYBEDI, więc ja bym szczerze mówiąc zupełnie nic im nie mówił.
We're back!
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, I just remembered something now. While I was sedated, I could still barely hear two people talking next to me. They were discussing everything, from the leaves to the water and even the teacups themselves.
Must have been Risley and Sishwin.
Yeah, I heard one male voice and one female, so it should have been the two of them. They really were just talking about brewing tea.
I really can't make sense of this place.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn anything from Risley?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations?
Ta, czy już lepiej się czujesz?
Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijwin is also busy with something or other, so let's just talk here.
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3 questions. Firstly, why was Freminet affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is probably very close to the fortress of Mirapede.
Ooh, he's good. He got that right on the first try.
That's our Lyney.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first, then suddenly roadblocked us. Why? I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because he was hoping we could find Master Child for him. What's more, the Fortress of Mirapede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. Risley is basically the king of a no-man's land. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the two factions are pitted against each other, Risley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret of the infirmary, but I just can't think of what it could be.
Spojrzenie Lyneya jest naprawdę wspaniałe.
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. Then finally, there's the last question. If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. He's even gotten Cloran to help him out. That can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has a bargaining chip, and it could be important enough for Father to deal with him directly. I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be. But let me guess. You have the last piece of the puzzle.
Czyli się dzielę jednak, no jasne. Nie ma wyboru.
I can't believe it.
The sea will engulf everyone. Just like the prophecy said.
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis. But how could Risley have known that?
Or perhaps he didn't know and just wanted to bring Father over to his side, which could be why he said he just wanted to negotiate.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to pass this on to our father. No matter what, we're on your side. The two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here right now if not for you. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth at any time. Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as family now.
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Lyney when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us. We didn't think you were going to do it.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Nie ma czego wspominać. Co to było? To jakiś potwór.
Paimon's hungry.
You've done so much already. Go get some food.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys another time.
No cóż, czy jednak o wszystkim powiedzieliśmy, nie ma innej opcji, no... Niestety, ja osobiście bym nie mówił. Aż takim nie ufam, nawet tamci się zdziwili. Ta dwójka, w sumie trójka, że o tym powiedzieliśmy, więc... No nie sądzę, żeby to było odpowiednie rozwiązanie, ale... No jakby twórcy inaczej to wymyślili, nie ma tu podejmowania decyzji.
I feel like I should try to become someone more capable of helping.
You're incredibly helpful. Lyney thinks so too.
Yeah, you two are always telling me not to push myself, but aren't you just like that as well?
Okej, czyli musimy pójść do kawiarenki, kafeteria. Czy tam pubu, dostać jedzenie, no... Szczerze mówiąc, wszystkie sytuacje zostały już wyjaśnione, wszystkie sekrety. Więc z tego co rozumiem, raczej niedługo będziemy już raport zdawali do Nerwileta i chyba tyle.
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals now being served in the coupon cafeteria.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well.
Traveler and Paimon, over here.
Are you here for dinner too, Miss Sijwin?
And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's dinner as well.
Huh. You're right. She's actually sitting in the fortress cafeteria.
What would you like to eat?
Możemy wybrać?
Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Największą porcję chcę.
Me too! Don't forget Paimon!
No problem. Just leave it to me.
Największa porcja może być tylko jedna, Paimon. Co ona odwala? Tak, czyli mamy jedzenie. Proszę bardzo, porozmawiamy.
So delicious.
Darmowe obiady są najlepsze.
Is this how it feels to be freeloaders? Wait a second, we did do plenty of work after all.
Feeling full yet? How's the food?
Delicious.
Exquisite. Dziękuję.
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression on your face just now? The muscle here just moved, which suggests that you're feeling quite relaxed at the moment.
Sijwin, do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human beings?
A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a Melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you.
You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older sister.
Really? You're reminded of an older sister? That's great to hear.
Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Lyney and his siblings as well?
Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the water. Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Glorand left, to make sure that Lyney wouldn't impulsively chase after his brother. Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door once Miss Glorand had returned. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Lyney as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to be in any real danger.
You were all super considerate and really thought everything through.
It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least this has been His Grace's style for as long as he's been the leader. Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervula would come down here more often too. I feel like he'd like it here, with all the darkness and chaos. Get a good night's rest, you two. You both worked very hard.
Dobra, czyli odpoczynek i zobaczmy, tędy najlepiej się teleportować. No w sumie nie wiem, czy jesteśmy już wolni, czy na czym to polega, co jeszcze mamy tu zrobić w sumie? No wszystkie sekrety zostały... A nie, przepraszam, bo nie wiadomo gdzie jest Childe jeszcze, tak? No co się z nim stało w ogóle? No właśnie to musimy odnaleźć. No ale jakie mają być kolejne poszlaki, to nie mam pojęcia. Było jedno przejście tymi rurami, ale jest zablokowane i tyle. Nie wiem.
So much has happened. Paimon just feels absolutely exhausted now that she's finally relaxed. Paimon's super sleepy. Are you sleepy too?
Chyba tak. Jezus, spać z czymś takim najgorzej. Chrapanie porąbane.
Delicious. Paimon wants seconds for free.
Myślałem, że w dwóch łóżkach śpią, a nie razem.
Out of my way! Get out of my way! What happened? Why is everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
Who's yelling? Paimon still wants to sleep.
Paimon, obudź się. W ogóle pierwszy raz widzę jakby, że nie lata. Co, nie ma Paimon? Jeżeli teraz wezmę pod escape, no to jednak fruwa. To dopiero sprawdź sytuację. Dobra, zobaczmy.
What happened? Why is everyone running around? Hey, what are you doing?
Why are you running?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye!
Hey, wait! What's wrong with these people? They won't even talk to us.
They're here! There you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Lavaroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong just now. His Grace is telling everyone to evacuate and get out of here. Lavaroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed, yet you only find out once you do a head count that one or two people are missing.
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it suddenly my idea?
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us.
Ale dowódca powiedział, żeby się ewakuować?
Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible, upwards and outwards.
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Whoa, wait, what? What? Hey, where are you going?
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without us!
Hey, hey! Be careful!
No to pewnie brama się otworzyła.
Evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards. If you're already at the topmost layer, then try to move as far outwards as possible.
Dobra, w każdym razie w tym miejscu zakończę dzisiejszy odcinek. W sumie zrobiłem całkiem duże postępy. Jeżeli interesuje was kontynuacja serii, jak to będzie dalej wyglądało z tą bramą, pewnie zniszczoną, z Dukiem, to polecam zostawić lajka, dzwonka po kolejne odcinki. No i w sumie tyle. Ja się z wami żegnam. Do jutra.
Attention!